Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Last Time Stylosa. So let's talk about World of Warcraft, and I was going to make a video which was going to be like a guide to whether you should resubscribe to World of Warcraft for the upcoming expansion, Warlords of Draenor. But I decided against that. Instead I just want to have a little bit of a discussion because I don't really want to make a video which is like, do this or do that. No, let's just talk about World of Warcraft and let's talk about some of the reasons why people will go back and subscribe and it may not be the best thing for them to be doing. Now, before we start this, I've been away from World of Warcraft for about 3 years, okay? I've recently been playing it, and I'm really looking forward to Warlords of Draenor, so take that, you know, maybe I'm biased towards the game, I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to it for a number of reasons. I mean, mainly the fact that it's going back to the lore which kind of mattered to me, all the old characters are coming back, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. However, let me just throw this out there. This is a kind of like a comparison to what it's sort of like going back to World of Warcraft, or what it can be like. Now this plays on the nostalgia element as well. Okay, so remember your high school. I remember my high school, you remember your high school, okay? For me it was some time ago since I was at high school, but for some people maybe not that far ago. What about college, something like that, maybe, or an old job, workplace, anything like that. You remember your high school, you remember the teachers, you remember the people there, you remember the way the place looked, you remember the memories, okay? Hopefully good memories you had when you were there. Now, what would you give to be able to go back and experience that again? Because that is kind of what is going on with World of Warcraft. You log in, and this doesn't necessarily matter with Warlords of Draenor, it could matter with any expansion, or just going back to World of Warcraft full stop, after not playing for an extended period of time, maybe 5, 6, 3, 4 years or whatever. You remember the good times. You go back, you remember the people, you remember the guilds, you remember everything else. You log into WoW and suddenly you do not have a guild because the guild's probably disbanded if it's been in excess of a few years, okay? Very unlikely that a guild would still be there. If you were like me, you probably... I'm going to use some of my EverQuest 2 experience because I did play that more than World of Warcraft at a high level within raid guilds and stuff. But the same applies, you know, all the same underlying philosophy applies. Like, I remember logging back in to that game years after I was really active, and I'm going to blow my own trumpet. I was the best tank on the server by far. In Europe for a period of time as well. The guild was really good. We'd get world first kills on raid bosses, so we're talking a really high-end guild. And I remember logging in, and I'd missed a couple of expansions. I logged in. The guild was still there. Nobody knew who I was, and it was kind of like, oh, hello. I was expecting to see people who would remember me, you know, remember my character's name, because I was kind of known, you know what I mean? Nobody knew me, and it was in that moment in time it clicked, and I'm like, you know what? This game is no longer the game I remember. And I think that's going to be the case for a lot of people going back to World of Warcraft. But like I said, I am playing Warlords of Draenor, okay? And I've been playing World of Warcraft the last couple of weeks. Only with Kiri. I haven't been doing anything with guilds or anything like that. But we've just been playing, and because that's kind of how we play World of Warcraft. We played it quite casually. We never really got into raiding or anything like that, because I'd done all of that with EverQuest 2. So I do have experience with that, so I can kind of relate to it. But just think guys, if you're going to log into World of Warcraft, if you're going to get sold by all of the advertising material, because it is damn good, it's Blizzard, it always is, or get sold by the premise of the expansion, and you buy the game with the intention of going in and carrying on, playing the game that you played a few years ago, it really isn't the game you played a few years ago, I'm afraid. Most of the... I mean, what ties these games together is the community, and most of the community is either going to be gone, or it's going to be different. Maybe people have got different characters, they've moved on. It's kind of going to... It's really hard to explain, but the school analogy, the high school analogy, really is the best thing I can think of. If I was to walk back into my old high school right now, nobody would know who I was. You know, I wouldn't... It would just be like, who are you? You know, and that's kind of what it could be like for you. But that's like... You know, the only kind of negative I can think of, if any of you guys watching the video can think of any more, then please put them in the comments below. So, why should you come and subscribe to World of Warcraft? Or why should you carry on playing the game? Well, I mean, I think if you've played before, and you can understand that the game is not the same game it was before, then you may be okay, alright? If you can somehow find a guild where you understand what's going on and you know the people maybe, and you can build those relationships, then great. I think the people who have who have got this the best, to be quite honest, are the people who have continued to play WoW throughout its entire life and have built up relationships with people who they know they can go and play the game with. It's one of the things I've got, which I've always felt has been a little bit of a gaming sort of regret, because I played a hell of a lot of EverQuest 2 around the launch of World of Warcraft. If for whatever reason I played WoW instead, I think I would have known maybe more people as a result of that, because a lot more people play WoW, whereas EverQuest 2 was kind of a niche thing. It did start off quite well, but then the population did kind of drop. But as I said before, you can make a lot of comparisons between the two games, because they are still fundamentally MMOs, and I knew a lot of people in that game. A lot of people knew me. You'd log in, people would know who you... I mean, you knew most of these people better than people you actually knew in real life. You know, it was that ridiculous. That's not really going to be the case for people going back to WoW. The game's 10 years old, and I think I'm going to leave it at that, because, like I said at the very beginning of this video, I was going to make a video which was going to be a highly edited thing, like almost like a checklist. If you meet these points, then yeah, subscribe. If you meet these points, then yeah, don't subscribe. But I just thought, no, that kind of doesn't really fit it, because I've been enjoying the game for what it is, but that's if you can just forget what it was, you know? And for me, like I said, I never really had the massive social aspect in WoW, because I only really played it with Kiri. But I did have that experience in EverQuest 2, so I can completely understand that if somebody who was really into the game and raided at a high level, or, you know, was really active in a guild or whatnot, if you log in now and the last time you played was, let's say, I don't know, Wrath of the Lich King, then nobody's going to know who you are. You know, it's just going to be, who is this guy? Nobody cares. One clever thing they have done, though, is they do give everybody a boost to level 90 if you do buy Warlords of Draenor, so you can kind of start fresh, and maybe you want to begin your experience again with a different character or something like that, and you're straight in at the start of the expansion. And I do think that's a good move by Blizzard. But I'm going to leave it at that, guys, because I don't want to just keep ranting on about this. I wanted it to be kind of short. Let me just check how long this has been going for. Hey, we go for about 7 minutes, so not too bad. Yeah, let me know, guys. Are you going to go back to World of Warcraft? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think what I've said makes sense, with the whole community aspect being the biggest draw? And if you can understand that the game is not the game it was last time you played, if you've been away for a few years, then you'll probably have a good time. You know, because WoW is sort of... It's almost like the Call of Duty thing. It's almost fashionable to be like, oh, I'm not going back to WoW, but why not? Why not, you know? It's fashionable to hate Call of Duty as well, but I've been quite impressed with the recent Call of Duty game. Anyway, like I said, guys, I'm looking forward to this. I'll be playing it tomorrow, and we'll see what's going to go on. But like I said, comment below. I do really want to see what you guys think about this, because I know practically everybody has played World of Warcraft and will have some sort of opinion on it. So I want to see a shed load of comments, guys. Alright, guys, I'm Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you like the video, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all of that jazz. And I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.